Welcome to the Digital Intellect, bringing you the latest news from around the world. The Alaska Highway, once a proud symbol of US-Canada friendship and engineering ambition, has long connected remote communities and fostered cross-border ties. Today, it stands at the epicenter of a major trade crisis, its lanes eerily quiet where commerce once flowed freely. On July 8, 2025, hundreds of commercial trucks are stranded at the border, unable to deliver essential goods. Families forced to cancel long-awaited summer trips, wait anxiously at rest stops, their plans upended by the sudden closure. In Alaska, grocery store shelves are emptying at an alarming rate. Residents scramble for basic necessities and local businesses struggle to keep up with demand. What began as a seemingly simple toll has rapidly escalated into a full-blown diplomatic standoff, threatening to unravel a 150-year alliance built on trust and cooperation. In response to new U.S. tariffs, Canada has imposed steep tolls on American trucks, igniting protests and sparking outrage among drivers and business owners on both sides. The shutdown has left Alaska isolated, turning a vital supply route into a logistical nightmare for both nations. Essential goods, from food to medicine, are now delayed or cut off entirely. The highway, once a lifeline for food, medicine, and supplies, now sits eerily silent, its rest stops and service stations deserted. Small Canadian towns along the route are suffering too, losing vital tourist and trade income as travelers and truckers disappear. The world is watching closely, as a political decision made thousands of miles away sends shockwaves through communities on both sides of the border, affecting lives and livelihoods. This crisis is a stark reminder of how quickly diplomatic ties can unravel, and how fragile even the strongest alliances can be in the face of political conflict. The Alaska Highway, built during wartime to unite two nations, now stands as a dividing line, a symbol of how easily unity can give way to division. As the story unfolds, the stakes for North American cooperation have never been higher, and the world waits to see if old friends can find common ground once again. The crisis began with aggressive U.S. tariffs, 30% on Canadian lumber, steel, and aluminum, announced by President Trump in May 2025. Canada, reeling from the economic blow, responded with a $5,000 toll on every U.S. truck using the Alaska Highway. The toll targeted Alaska, the state most dependent on this route, to force Washington's attention. Canada framed the move as reciprocal, a stand for national sovereignty after failed negotiations. The Alaska Highway, the only land link to Alaska, became a bargaining chip. The White House, caught off guard, condemned the tolls as illegal and hostile. Rhetoric between Trump and Trudeau quickly soured, with public accusations and threats. What started as a trade dispute spiraled into a full-blown diplomatic crisis. The highway, once a symbol of partnership, is now a pawn in a high-stakes standoff. Both nations are feeling the pain, but neither is backing down. The world wonders, how far will this go? The Alaska Highway's fate hangs in the balance. To grasp the crisis, we must revisit the highway's origins. Built during World War II, the Alaska Highway was a joint US-Canadian effort to defend North America after Pearl Harbor. Over 10,000 US soldiers, including African-American regiments, and Canadian civilians braved harsh conditions to carve a 500-mile road through wilderness. Completed in just 8 months, it became a symbol of unity and shared sacrifice. After the war, Canada took control, with the understanding the road would remain a bridge, not a barrier. Today, that spirit of cooperation is lost. The highway, once a testament to alliance, is now a source of division. The tolls are seen by many as a betrayal of a historic pact. A road built to unite is now used to isolate. The legacy of wartime partnership is overshadowed by confrontation. The question remains, can that spirit be restored? The Alaska Highway's cooperative legacy was formalized in the 1977 Shockwalk Agreement, a landmark moment that symbolized decades of partnership between the United States and Canada. This agreement was more than just a document. It was a promise to future generations. Under its terms, the U.S. provided crucial funding for major upgrades on the Canadian section of the highway. In return, Canada pledged that the route would remain open and toll-free, not just for a few years but forever, ensuring seamless travel and trade between the two nations. Now, with the introduction of new tolls, the U.S. views Canada's actions as a direct violation of this historic treaty, threatening the very foundation of their agreement. American officials insist that the agreement is legally binding, regardless of any ongoing trade disputes or political tensions, and that its terms must be honored. Canada, however, argues that recent U.S. tariffs have undermined the broader spirit of cooperation, and that their response is justified as a necessary countermeasure to protect their own interests. Legal experts remain divided. Some maintain that a treaty's terms are absolute and must be upheld at all costs, while others believe that extraordinary circumstances like economic retaliation can justify temporary countermeasures. The result is a bitter legal and diplomatic clash, with trust and goodwill eroding on both sides, and negotiations growing increasingly tense. The once certain promise of a toll-free highway, a symbol of unity and open borders, is now shrouded in uncertainty for travelers and communities alike. The Shutdown Agreement, originally designed to guarantee connection and cooperation, is now under immense strain, its future hanging in the balance. The outcome of this dispute could set a precedent, redefining how both nations honor their commitments and shaping the future of international agreements. Around the world, governments and citizens alike are watching closely, wondering if treaties and promises between nations still hold true in times of crisis. The future of cross-border cooperation and the trust that underpins it now hangs in the balance, with both sides facing difficult choices. The stakes are higher than ever, and the decisions made now will echo for generations to come. Beyond the headlines and political debates, the crisis unfolding here is devastating real people in ways that are often invisible to the outside world. In these remote northern communities, every day brings new uncertainty and hardship. Maria Sanchez, a Fairbanks grocer, watches her shelves empty as trucks stop at the border. "This isn't a game, it's my livelihood." For Maria and her customers, each missing delivery means fewer options, higher prices, and growing anxiety about what tomorrow will bring. In Watson Lake, Yukon, motel owner John Peters lays off staff. "Our town feels like a ghost town. We're collateral damage." Businesses that once thrived on travelers and truckers now face an uncertain future, forced to make heartbreaking decisions. Cross-border communities like Haines, Alaska and Haines Junction, Yukon, are suddenly divided. Families separated, sports teams stranded, and friends unable to visit each other. The border, once a line of connection, has become a barrier. The sense of shared community is replaced by frustration and loss. Local events are canceled, and gathering places sit empty, deepening the isolation. Truckers are stuck too. David Chen, from Seattle, sits at the border with a full load. "I'm losing thousands every day. Politicians are playing with our lives." For drivers like David, every hour of waiting means lost income and mounting stress. Canadian towns along the highway lose vital tourist and trade income. Shops, restaurants, and attractions that depend on summer travelers now face empty streets and shuttered doors. The shutdown is tearing at the fabric of daily life on both sides. Families worry about paying bills, children miss out on school activities, and the routines that once brought comfort are now disrupted. Ordinary people, not politicians, bear the brunt of the standoff. Their voices, often unheard, echo through empty streets and quiet homes. The crisis is more than economics. It's about community, connection, and survival. It's about neighbors helping neighbors, and families doing whatever it takes to stay together. The longer the highway stays closed, the deeper the wounds. Each passing day leaves scars that may take years to heal, if they ever do. The human cost is mounting. Anxiety, fear, and uncertainty are now part of daily life as people wonder when relief will come. Voices from the road demand action. The world is listening. Will leaders respond, or will these communities be left to face the consequences alone? The shutdown's economic shockwaves are severe. Alaska, reliant on the highway for over 70% of its goods, faces soaring prices and empty shelves. Air and sea alternatives are costly and limited. Construction projects stall, hospitals run low on supplies, and retailers can't restock. Canadian exporters and tourism in the Yukon and northern BC are also hit hard. The trade war puts thousands of Canadian jobs at risk, while the tolls hurt local economies. Experts warn broken supply chains aren't easily repaired. Alaska may seek new suppliers, permanently shifting trade away from Canada. Even if resolved, the damage could last for years. Trust, once lost, is hard to regain. The crisis exposes the fragility of interconnected economies. Using critical infrastructure as leverage comes at a steep price. The lessened economic weapons cut both ways. The political fallout is fierce. President Trump blasts Canada on social media, calling the tolls a betrayal and threatening more tariffs. Trudeau in Parliament stands firm. "Canada will not be intimidated. Our actions are a direct response to US protectionism." Both leaders dig in, making compromise harder. Trump's America First policy faces a real test as Alaska suffers. Trudeau's approval surges at home, uniting Canadians behind his stand. The standoff is now a test of leadership and national pride. International allies watch with concern, fearing instability between two key democracies. The dispute shakes confidence in the Western alliance and rules-based order. The world wonders if cooperation can survive this crisis. The stakes extend far beyond North America. The pressure to resolve the standoff is mounting. Experts warn the crisis is dangerous and unpredictable. Dr. Sarah Jenkins, trade policy expert, using infrastructure as a bargaining chip sets a terrible precedent. We're in uncharted territory. Legally, the situation is murky. The US cites the Shutdown agreement. Canada invokes WTO rules for retaliation. Legal battles could take years while economic and human costs mount daily. Military analysts highlight the highway's strategic value. Alaska's bases are vital for North American defense. The dispute isn't just about trade, it's about security. Yet shared pain may force a solution. Dr. Isabelle Fournier, US-Canada relations. Both sides are hurting. The pressure to negotiate is immense. The key: finding a way for both leaders to step back without losing face. Quiet diplomacy, not public posturing, is needed. The crisis could either deepen the rift or force a new understanding. The next move will shape the future of US-Canada relations. The world waits for a breakthrough. As the crisis drags into its third week, the need for diplomacy is urgent. The Alaska Highway, built to connect, now stands as a symbol of broken trust. Empty shelves and silent towns show the real cost of political brinkmanship. The only solution is negotiation. Public threats must give way to serious talks. The US-Canada alliance, forged in war and shared values, is being tested. Grassroots pressure from businesses and citizens is growing. A phased removal of tariffs and tolls could offer both sides a way out. The crisis is a lesson in the fragility of cooperation and the need to rebuild trust. Compromise and respect are essential to restore the highway's legacy. The world is watching, hoping leaders choose the path of diplomacy. The future of North American partnership depends on it.